Last year, I built an Instagram account to over 30,000 followers for my business and it produced almost nothing. Yes, I got a few leads, clients, and connections, but nothing worth mentioning. And the reason wasn't the content, the consistency, or the algorithm. It was much worse and will completely rethink the way you define success on social media. The problem was I had built an audience with no system underneath it. So I rebuilt the whole thing from scratch, this time with one job: turn attention into qualified conversations with the right people. Luckily, for the past few years, I've been working with other business owners and helping them generate clients online with social media. So in this video, I'm going to show you the actual system that does that. The research, the scripting, the tracking, AI implementation, and the one layer almost nobody's talking about right now. By the end, you'll understand the difference between content that grows a number and content that builds a client pipeline. And you'll see exactly how to structure it for your own business. Let me start with the part most people in this space will never tell you because it doesn't make them look good. I built a real audience, 30,000 followers, built from scratch, posting consistently for a long time. By every metric the internet tells you to care about, it worked. And it generated almost zero business results. Here's the uncomfortable question I had to sit with. If 30,000 people are following you and none of them become clients, what exactly did you build? The answer is that I built reach. I did not build a pipeline. Those are two completely different assets, and most founders confuse them because the platforms are designed to make you confuse them. The content was for everyone, which means it was for no one. It wasn't aligned to a specific ideal client profile, the exact type of person I could actually help and actually wanted to work with. It wasn't connected to an offer, and nothing downstream of a view was being tracked or fed back into the next post. So I had volume with no architecture, and volume with no architecture is just noise that happens to have a follower account attached to it. That failure is the reason everything I'm about to show you exists. I started from a different question entirely. The question was, what is the specific job this content system needs to do for the business? And the job is simple to state and hard to execute. Consistently put the right message in front of the right ideal client profile in my voice and route the people who respond in a real conversation while feeding every result back into the system so the next piece of content is smarter than the last. Notice what's not in that sentence. Followers, likes, views, none of those are the goal. They're byproducts of doing the actual job well. The shift is, you stop building for the audience metric and you start building for the pipeline outcome. Once you make that shift, the entire structure of how you produce content changes. By the way, I put a link in the description to the AI Instagram playbook that lays the architecture out step by step. So if you want to apply it for your own account while you watch, it's right there. Now let me show you the actual system because the framing only matters if you can see the machine underneath. The mistake people make with AI is treating it like one chatbot you ask to write me a post. That's the equivalent of hiring one generalist and expecting them to run your entire growth function. Instead, think of this as specialist hires. Each agent does one job, the way a good marketing department would split responsibilities. And like a real hire, an agent isn't great on day one. It gets great by doing the work, seeing what happened, and remembering it. The first agent is a research analyst. It pulls signals from the market like what people in your industry are asking and what fears keep surfacing. This comes from all inside your business, from sales calls, client objections, fulfillment insights, audience comments, client conversations, and so much more over here. It'll also go to external market signals like Reddit discussions, search trends, competitor outliers, cross-niche outliers, and so much more. This research analyst helps you create content based on what your ideal client is exactly looking for. Now, the second agent is a copywriter. After finalizing on the topic, the copywriter creates compelling script outlines, hook variations, and written assets, using data and psychology to capture attention and communicate trust-building messages effectively using the data given by the research analyst. And all you have to do now is just record and post. Then the third agent is the performance analyst. The performance analyst then analyzes content performance data to uncover patterns, measure results, and identify opportunities to improve future content performance. It also sends daily, weekly, and monthly briefs to keep you updated on exactly what's happening, what each agent did, and everything exactly like how a normal team updates and creates action steps to focus on. And then lastly, the fourth agent is a creative strategist. The creative strategist transforms the research insights, business goals, and data into content concepts, messaging angles, and creative directions designed to drive engagement and revenue, all while testing, hypothesizing, validating, and creating conclusions on winning variables from your content to deeply understand why and how the best performing content pieces performed and what to double down on. You can also see the backlog of tasks, what's in progress and what's already completed, and chat with exactly which agent and which role I need it for. Here's what I promised you at the start, and it's the most important part of the entire system. Everything you just watched writes back into one shared memory: the research, the content performance, the comments, the inbound conversations, the call notes, the outcomes. Every agent reads from it and writes to it. So when the copywriter writes next week's scripts, it already knows what came up in conversations with prospects this week. An objection someone raised on a Tuesday gets answered in a piece of content the following Monday. Everyone right now is arguing about which AI model is best. That is completely the wrong question. The model is not the moat, the data is the moat. Without shared memory, nothing compounds. You just have a bunch of disconnected tools producing disconnected output, and you're the only thing holding the context together in your own head. That's not a system. That's you doing more work with extra steps. With shared memory, the system gets measurably smarter every single week on its own. And 12 months from now, that is going to be the entire difference. The businesses running on compounding systems are going to be nearly impossible to catch from a standing start. So here's the core lesson, and it's the one that cost me a 30,000 follower count to learn. A following is not a pipeline. Volume without a system is just noise with a number attached. The founders who win with content over the next year won't be the ones posting the most or chasing the biggest follower count. They'll be the ones whose content is built on a system that knows their ideal client, speaks in their voice, and gets smarter every single week. I'm documenting this entire build in public as it happens, so follow along on Instagram at AgustaGoodiPutty and you'll see the system run in real time. And I've put together the AI Instagram playbook that breaks down the exact architecture step by step. It's the same structure I'm using to rebuild the right way, and it's yours to apply to your own account. If this was useful, subscribe. I'm posting new videos every week on this.